The rain is still coming down here in the Spruce Meadows neighborhood of Holly Springs. I'm told this entire neighborhood without power. I want to show you what we're seeing. So there's a lot of debris like this in this neighborhood. And here's why, Angela and Marius. Check that out. That's a part of the fence. And then if we can walk over this way, you see every single one of the fences in this yard and the yard behind us completely blown out.
Well, I do have some good news for you, Marius. You know, you mentioned yesterday that this river crested at a historic level. It's starting to recede, as you said, so this is where it is right now. And if you were watching us, you know we were live here at 12 o'clock, and I actually put a rock down to show you where the water was then. So again, great news, the water's starting to recede. However, there is still some concern by these business owners who are waiting to get back in so they can check out the damage inside their buildings.
We're standing in a safe spot right now. We're okay, so we're just going to narrate what we're seeing. So we're in front of the old courthouse. There are officers in riot gear. Firecrackers and fireworks have now gone off. We see what appears to be canisters of tear gas that were deployed. Now, this is what's happening right now. The officers are, it's hard to say if they're going back into the building, but they are standing there. And again, the crowd has now run from in front of the old courthouse back into the street here. You can hear those firecrackers, those fireworks going off. Protesters now standing on the steps, standing with their signs away from those police officers who are still standing in formation in front of the old courthouse. This is happening right now on Fayetteville Street in downtown Raleigh.
We're going to just get over pan to the crowd so you can see what's going on here. So this was that group that we were initially with the youth protesters that were at the state capitol. Then we walked down Fayetteville Street and walked with the group back up to meet together. And there was that large group with those kids speaking to the crowd. I had told you about 6-year-old Gerald that we talked to earlier, who told us he was going to save the world. He got on the mic and he was leading this group of, I would say, well over 100 people in this peaceful protest that's going on right now. They've been chanting that they want justice and peace here today, and they were urging this crowd to remain peaceful into the night tonight. They say they don't want to see any more riots like we saw here over the weekend.
Hey guys, remember that beautiful weather we had last Saturday? Well, Dame McGregor came out here because he wanted to enjoy it. I can actually show you. He hopped on the Greenway, and he was about a half mile from where we're standing right now when unfortunately he fell off his bike, seriously hurting himself, cracking his hip. But there were a lot of people out here that day who came to help him. They comforted him. They called 911. And tonight, he has a message for them.
Yeah, so Russ and Angela, I think a lot of us might be guilty of this. So you go to a restaurant, you take that receipt, maybe you crumple it up or even just throw it in the trash. Well, police say this case a great reminder. You should not be doing that. You should be saving those receipts so you can cross-check them with your credit card bill. That way you don't become the victim of a crime.
It's really important to note it's not a great idea if you see any sea turtles on the beach for you to go ahead and try and pick them up yourself and bring them down to the water. That's because the volunteers tell us it's actually a $50,000 fine and up to 1 year in jail. The best thing to do, just give them a call.
What a difference a day makes when you're dealing with a hurricane like Dorian. You'll remember yesterday we were 10 miles north of here on Wrightsville Beach. Just look at the difference. Look at the wind and the waves and the surf, how it has changed since yesterday. We were saying yesterday, a beautiful afternoon, certainly not the case today, as we were already starting to feel the weather that Dorian is going to be bringing with it here. There are still some people out in the ocean, but I want to remind everybody this area is under a mandatory evacuation order. Got to tell you, you can feel that it's getting closer and closer. The wind really ramping up here. If you guys have been following us on Tuesday, photojournalist Dave Hatman and I were reporting live from Johnny Mercer's Pier in Wrightsville Beach. If you know the area, you know that's an iconic spot to go fishing from or get a bite to eat. And we just checked. The info from there has the wind speed at 46 knots with gusts of up to 56. So things certainly kicking off here as Dorian gets closer and closer to our coast tonight. Again, it's just since Tuesday, since we got here Tuesday morning, there's been this feeling of anticipation, watching, waiting for this thing to happen. These communities here are no stranger to hurricanes. And when we've talked with people, obviously they remember storms like like Bertha and Fran that were so devastating. And of course, Florence just a year ago. And I was saying earlier that the gentleman whose property this is, who's graciously letting us stand on his porch, or his deck, excuse me, he said he had a foot of water last year from Florence. So they're hoping that is not the case tonight as Dorian makes its presence known. Now, I do want to mention the big concern in this community is, of course, storm surge. So that is when the wind pushes the water into closer to the community here, closer to the shore. So that's what people are waiting to see, how if that is going to be an issue.
Yeah, so 18-year-old Carlos Soto is charged with indecent exposure, but Angela and Marius, we learned this is actually not the first time he's been caught in this neighborhood with his pants down. In fact, in his arrest warrant, one of the conditions of his release from a magistrate was don't run around naked. This is the video keeping a Clayton neighborhood on edge for weeks.
We wanted to find out what was going on.
What are you doing out roaming around with no pants on?
Surprising and a little bit unsettling.
Thursday, Clayton police say 18-year-old Carlos Soto is believed to be the prowler seen here walking across yards and driveways on Hudson Lane, in some cases without pants on.
It's about time. It's about time, and I don't have to worry about coming outside and letting the kids run around freely.
We tried to speak with Soto at his home about a mile from the neighborhood, but a woman who answered the door didn't want to comment. This isn't the teen's first run-in with the law. Police say last March, Soto was charged with misdemeanor indecent exposure after a woman reported him masturbating outside the window at the Riverwood Athletic Club. In December, police said they knew who the prowler in the video was, but couldn't charge him right away.
But that was the big alarming factor right there, was like, all right, well, why isn't anything happening?
One of the differences between the two cases is that although the prowler was seen without pants on in the surveillance video, no one saw him in person. In a statement, Clayton's police chief said, quote, cameras can't be the victim, only people can. But after working for a month to collect evidence, police pursued charges.
I believe everyone on the street right here is pleased.
And now families here say they can breathe a little easier. And Soto is due back in court next month. Reporting live in Clayton, Colleen Quigley, CBS 17 News.
And Angela, I found out that the last time McDougal Terrace was inspected, it received a score of 31 out of a possible 100 points. And today I also found out it wasn't the only Durham Housing Authority complex to not get a passing grade.
Built in 1953, McDougal Terrace is the largest and oldest public housing community in Durham. But many tenants say the time has come to make major changes or even replace it entirely.
Have you ever flushed your toilet and your feces comes up in your tub? That's what we deal with in McDougal on a regular basis.
We took a look at the inspection reports from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which grades facilities based on the physical condition, finances, management, and capital fund. On its last inspection in March 2019, McDougal Terrace scored 31 out of a possible 100 points. In 2018, the facility scored 21. We also pulled the scores for the most recent inspections by HUD for all 14 of Durham's public housing facilities. A passing grade per HUD is a score of 60. Besides McDougal, 6 other complexes scored below a 60, the lowest Hoover Road at 30.
I thought, like, out of all the complexes in Durham, I thought, like, Hoover Road was one of the ones that was, like, pretty kept up the most.
Quanisha Foster has lived here since 2018. The 54 townhomes were built in 1968.
These apartments are old, so, yeah, everything needs to be rebuilt, needs to be, like, they need to just basically start fresh.
7 complexes did receive passing scores on their most recent inspections. The highest was here at Worth Street with 92 points. This single-family home was built in 2014, and according to DHA's website, the waiting list for this property is currently closed.
We did reach out to HUD today because we wanted to learn a little bit more about these inspections and what goes into them, but we are still waiting to hear back.
This is the hospital where that trooper is recovering tonight. Trooper Craig Hudley has been with State Highway Patrol for 12 years, but Justin Venable telling me today he didn't know he hit the trooper. He only realized it after somebody else pulled him over.
Oh, I'm very sorry for hitting him.
Justin Venable says he didn't mean to hit Trooper Craig Hundley Tuesday night along US 1 in Vance County. The trooper, seriously hurt, was airlifted to Duke Hospital.
Please forgive me. It wasn't, intentionally. Like I said, it was getting foggy out. I didn't see him, and I hope he have a speedy recovery.
32-year-old Venable says he drives this stretch every day, and Tuesday night saw the trooper's car and another vehicle stopped on the side of the road.
Like I said, it was like 2 or 3 cars coming up on my left side, so I couldn't merge over. So, like I said, I passed the car, and next thing I know, another state trooper pulled me, and he told me I had hit an officer, and I hadn't realized it.
You didn't hear a bump, or you didn't see anything?
Well, I had the radio kind of turned up, and I didn't feel it, or of course I didn't hear it because of the radio. So
Venable's now facing multiple charges, including DWI, and he admits to drinking before the crash. Had you been drinking last night?
I did stop on the way home and had a drink at one of the bars, and then I just proceeded to come on home. And like I said, I wasn't drunk. It was just, I guess once they gave me the test, they found out I had alcohol on in me. So.
Well, tonight, Venable is out on bond. He's due in court in Vance County next month. Now, if you want to hear our full interview with him, we have that up on our website, CBS17.com. For now, reporting live in Durham, Colleen Quigley, CBS 17 News.
Yeah, we're here now. We're just checking out the pie selection. So let me know what you guys want, because Angela, I know I'm coming to your house on Thursday. We learned something pretty interesting today, though. According to the American Farm Bureau, you can feed 10 people for less than $5 per person on Thanksgiving. So we came here to see what people will be putting on their plates this holiday.
The countdown is on to Thanksgiving Day. So shoppers like April Conyer are filling up their carts.
If somebody's never cooked a turkey before, what would you tell them?
Go to Boston Market.
Jokes aside, like millions of Americans, April is preparing for the big meal.
Turkey, we're going to have collard greens, macaroni and cheese, candy yams.
Here at Raleigh's Wegmans, there's been a steady flow of shoppers all week.
The excitement's building for Thanksgiving Day. Turkeys was a huge one. We were flying through turkeys.
My personal favorites are pumpkin pie. I've eaten 2 of them this week already. We cannot keep our 6-foot case filled with pumpkin pies.
Ryan Adams is preparing to host 5 people on Thursday.
What would your advice be to some last-minute shoppers?
Don't bring your kids.
Do you like pie?
Yeah. We wanted to know how much the average meal, including that pie, costs.
A couple $100 probably.
Okay. So
if not more.
According to the American Farm Bureau, the average for a turkey, stuffing, sweet potatoes, rolls with butter, peas, cranberries, a veggie tray, pumpkin pie, and coffee and milk to serve a family of 10 with plenty of leftovers comes to $48.91.
That's crazy, because I'm going to spend more than that.
What do you do on Thanksgiving?
Give thanks. But whatever is on the menu this holiday, shoppers say there is one item that's most important.
This is all about the family, so being together at the table and, being with each other is the most important thing.
Happy Thanksgiving!
All right, we are back live now in Wegmans, and I did learn 2 tips I want to pass along to you. The first one is about these turkeys. So if you're a last-minute shopper, the folks told me here at Wegmans you have to get a fresh one because it's too late to get a frozen one. They're not going to thaw in time. They also said if you still need to do your shopping, they suggest coming tomorrow night because they think most people will get their stuff done during the day, and they do expect it to be busy here tomorrow, but that the crowd will die down this time tomorrow night. Reporting live in Raleigh, Colleen Quigley, CBS 17 News.